And your pasta, no clue far from the plan. Tottenham stranded in shadows, no man's land. Lost on the pitch, echoes in the night. Fans screaming loud, no end in sight. Shift the blame like drifting sand. Promises empty, no steady hand. Wandering clueless in the football mist. Wishing for a twist, but nightmares persist. Shift the blame like drifting sand. Promises empty, no steady hand. Wandering clueless in the football mist. Wishing for a twist, but nightmares persist. Where's the Leo who waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind. Speechless, impressed, they're at the ground. No solutions, nowhere to be found. Fans on the side, hearts turned to stone. Stadium echoes a lonesome drone. Whispers in the air, they speak of change. Hope on the horizon feels so strange. Question marks in every wayward pass. And goes the future fading fast. Where's the Leo who waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind. Where's the Leo we waited in vain? Pains us deeply every season the same. No direction, stumbling blind. Tottenham's lost its mind.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be in town. If you're a Spurs fan, it's Monday night. Welcome. Smash the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, push any button you find, even the ejector seat. Get out of this club, get out of this channel, save yourself. It's happened again. Another game, another loss, another week of Ange Ball, another week of fans calling each other out. Do you know what? Why do we do this? Like, honestly, why do we do this, guys? Do you know, right? We've got another 5 weeks of this.
One game less, one game down, only a few left. The season's almost over. Netflix, Paramount, Amazon, all of them will be all available. I've got so many series I want to watch. Mobland. I've got so much planned for when the season's over.
So when happiness begins, isn't it?
Yeah,
happiness.
for a few months, and honestly, it's
Until the transfer window opens, then it kicks in again.
Oh my god! It's like,
do you know what, Iggy? You just made me think of something. It's a real shame, actually, that beg your pardon, the All or Nothing documentary wasn't done on this season. It would have been blockbuster. I'd love to see. In fact, Levy would probably just block the whole thing, wouldn't he? He'd shut it down.
Yeah,
the documentary.
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, it'd be box office.
I don't think
think
it would be. I don't think it would be still, if I'm honest.
I'd watch
I
it. 100%.
I think that Andrew would be 100% the ultimate yes man. So nothing fruitful would come out of like the
I think that will be box office. I think
Right,
Arsenal will be box office as well this season.
and I also think as well that the players are so like disorientated and disillusioned with what's happening. They'll all just be walking around with like looking down at the floor because they're not allowed their own opinion because Andrew shot at them.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be looking, Maz. You wouldn't be looking at what they say. You'd be looking at what they don't say. You'd be looking at their body language. You pick up with so much with non-verbal communication. With that
I'd want to
team.
see the conversations between Levy and the players in the canteen, between Levy and players that are maybe like Romero, who wants out, is like the Danny Rose of the old documentary. I want to see what happens between Levy and Ange, the conversations they have. I want to see the protests. Part of the documentary and what they say about the protesters. Oh, they should have done All or Nothing this year. It would have been the best.
Did you not see even like Madison's post-match conversation that he had with it? There was so much non-verbal communication happening.
We need to get into that, Iggy. I've got
so much non-verbal communication. There were things that were coming out of his mouth, but you look at his face and he's thinking there's so much more that he's saying right now that we're not listening to, but we're picking up on it. I mean, I certainly picked up, and I don't know you guys, but yeah, for sure we can pick up on all of that.
I just saw Porro laughing on the bench at 4-1. I just saw Porro just cracking up laughing. This is good.
But you know what? People laugh because it's either really funny or just laugh because it's just completely nutter, just a shit show, and that's all it is. But we were probably like doing the same. We was looking around each other and thinking. Well, I certainly wasn't here, man. But I was like, there was nothing. You know what?
Iggy, come on, man. You don't laugh, right? You don't laugh, right? When you're
not laughing because it's funny. You're laughing because it's like there's a mixture of just complete and utter. You're not shocked anymore, but yet you're still disbelieved by what you're seeing in front of you. That's what I mean. That's what you're like. That's the laughter. But for me, man, I've never seen so many matches this season where I've been disengaged watching them. I'm even doing post-match videos during the match, man, as if to say, mate, the match doesn't need to. I don't need to wait till the 90th minute. I could start doing a post-match from like 55, 60 minutes on because there is nothing more that I'm going to see the next 30 minutes that I haven't seen already.
Your video was hilarious. Wave after wave after wave of Liverpool attack. Viva Tottenham!
Yeah. Viva Ange. Like, it's just, mate. There was at one point I think we were 3-1 down. Right? I know we're going to get into this. When we start, I'm always from the back. There was at one point we was 3-1 and we was all out in attack. And I remember two of their forwards inside their own half with one of our defenders, one in the centre spot, and they just put one ball forward and they just 2v1 with the whole of the pitch. In our own half, we only had the goalkeeper. That was it. And you think, oh Lord.
Let's get into it. We'll get into it. Very quickly.
Save face. It's 3-1. Save face a little bit. Don't make him go 4-5. It could have been 6-7-8 in the end. But sometimes, you know what? You just got to say, we've lost the game. We've lost the game. Try at least save a little bit of face, man, because you've got some real important games. One's coming up now on Thursday. So come out with some sort of face. We left with we didn't leave with a face. We left with our asses on our faces. Like handed over to us. So here you go, boys. Good luck.
We got the Anfield Demolition Job. Name of the show. Anyone watching the show tonight? Get your comments in the chat.
That was Anfield gangbang, mate. That's what
We'll try and go for as many as we can. If you've got any questions or topics you want us to discuss, get your super chat in. Big up to the two, Mark Sheriff.
If you could only see what I'm seeing right now as I'm talking to you lot. Sorry, man. If you can only see what I'm seeing, come over here. Come over there.
Is your son is Joe a Liverpool fan?
Mate, I'm telling you, this is like, honestly, if you could only see what I've got to see, if I come over, come and show your face. Come and show your face. Don't just come piss me off. Come and piss everyone else. Yeah. Come and listen. Give him everyone in the chat. Give him the most abuse ever, man. You don't need to hear, man. You need to hear, bro. Come on, say it. Come on. So I'll unplug it. Don't worry, man. People.
Come here. Here we go. Look. This is 2 days of this. 2 days.
Joe, I'm going to introduce Joe. Right, let me do this super chat. Don't worry, I'm going to introduce you
For
properly.
those who don't know, obviously, why? Because I'm going to get it. Why is he a Liverpool fan, Iggy? Why is he a Liverpool fan? There's a story behind this. I've said this many a times. But go on,
Chris, that's all right. Chris Motley with the super chat. McAllister left Brighton to go to Liverpool. Basuma left Brighton to come to us. Discuss. I think you should have said disgusted, not discuss. Big up, Chris, mate. What more can we say? Chris also says, when we consider how washed up Son is, consider this. Son's 1 month younger than Mo Salah. Mental. There is so much wrong with the current situation at Spurs. I'm not surprised. I just want to give a quick shout out to it's a channel called Morton Barley, I believe. He emailed us saying, can I ask for a huge favor? Can I request you give a shout out during your show tonight for my home team of Wrexham? 3 consecutive promotions up to the championship.
Massive.
Big up. They are a superb example of what can be achieved when you have owners who invest massively in the club, players, fans, and local community, and do it wisely. Spurs should take note, as who knows, maybe in season 26-27, they will be playing Wrexham in the Premier League, or will be playing you in the Championship. Let's hope Liverpool go easy on us.
They will come up and we'll go down, because we're 17. We're making a good habit of it.
Then we won't play them.
Taking our place.
Well, big up to him. He goes by the name of Morton Barley in the chat. So, listen, well done to you guys in Wrexham. Isn't that the football club that the actor Ryan Reynolds owns?
Yeah, it is. Though.
It's the actor, isn't it? Yeah, the Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
Well, listen, hats off to you guys. Joe, look, man, congratulations. Liverpool, the champions of England. You've done it. Arnie Slot, phase 1. No £800 million Arteta spend. No 6-year process. Trust the process. He's done it. Arsenal put up their second place banner for the 3rd year in a row. Well done, Arsenal. You must be proud. Spurs fans bantering the Gooners in the away end at Anfield. Then we got battered 5-1. Look, the stats say it all. You battered us. More shots, more on target, more passes, more clear-cut chances, more corners. You officially have broken your record. You scored the most goals against an opponent in a season in all competitions. You put 15 past Spurs this year. 15 goals. And that leaves you as the champions, and Spurs are now 16th, 19 losses, still not on 40 points, 4 games to go. The show goes on. Listen, Joe, we're crap. You've battered us all year. It's been an absolute disgrace from us, but you must be well happy, because when you last won the league, it was COVID. There was no fans really allowed out. This time it was a proper party. You must have loved it.
No, it was brilliant. I mean, I knew the league was already done before the game even kicked off when I saw your starting 11. Just simple as that, to be honest. When I saw Danso and Davis as the 2 centre-backs, I saw Archie Gray in defensive midfield, who's been playing everywhere but midfield all season. I was like, okay, sure. I saw the midfield. I was like, it's nothing. I saw your attack. Tell Brennan Johnson, did he even touch the ball yesterday? In the whole time he was on the pitch, I don't remember him touching the ball.
Joe, I think you don't rate Tell, Joe.
I saw from the first game.
You wouldn't have him at Liverpool.
No, not a chance. Maybe in the under 23s, maybe, but not in the first team. Nowhere near. And Dominic Solanke, I can't believe actually scored against us. He's still crap, but good goal.
I called that goal.
That was actually a really good header. Really good. He outjumped Gravenberch, you know that? He outjumped Gravenberch for that header.
Yeah, but he's still rubbish.
He's all right.
He's still rubbish.
He's all right.
No,
he's okay.
Yeah, he's rubbish. Yeah, he's rubbish.
Well, look, do you know what frustrated me? And we'll get into it, lads. We've gone with Davies and Danzo at centre-back, and that's the game we decided to put Gray in the 6. Not even experienced players behind him to talk to him. and he puts Bergvall next to Gray, another kid next to a kid at Anfield, the biggest game of your season, the biggest, hardest, toughest game that we ever have to play because we never ever get anything up there. And that's the day he does it. And you go and put McAllister, Sobersley, and Gravenberch in the middle. And I'm thinking, look at this. This is literally the best team they've got. Alisson, Van Dijk, Konate, Alexander-Arnold, and Robertson, left and right back. Front three, Diaz, Salah, Gakpo. This is the best starting 11 you could have possibly asked for. And we go and do it today. Well, yesterday. Joe, I agree with you. When I saw this, it wasn't just our starting lineup. When I saw your starting lineup, I thought Archie Gray's up against McAllister and Sobersley and he's going to get rinsed. And behind him, he's got the athletic pace of Ben Davies. I mean,
how to say I'm going to sell you out without saying I'm going to sell you out? But that's what the manager did yesterday. Not doing that to Archie Gray.
But not also that
sold him out.
Didn't he get subbed off at half time as well?
He came off, I think, on the 60th minute for Pape Sarr, and we took off Maddison for Kuda. Do you know, we actually got worse when we made the subs. We made the subs. We actually got worse.
I'm sure Gray came up at half time.
We didn't make any subs at half time. But you might be right. Joe, I'll check. You might be right.
I remember 2 subs at half time. I do remember it.
You might be right, Joe. You might be right.
I was so busy picking myself up from the floor after being slapped in that first sort of 35 minutes that I wasn't even paying attention at half time anymore. I was just too busy drowning my sorrows. Honestly, it was.
Joe, you're right. Madison and Gray came off at half time. You're right.
I thought so. That just says everything you need to know about your manager. He's not only throwing the 18-year-old kid in midfield at Anfield, he's then subbed him off at half time. What a way to kill his confidence.
It was already dead anyway by half time.
No,
just back your team. Just back your team, right? Just back your team. Back your manager, right? That's the answer to everything at Spurs. Just back even if it's a disaster, even if it's failure, even if you know where it's heading. And it's not heading in the right direction. Just back it. Just support.
Back it because we sit down and watch every single game, including ones that you know already from, like I said, from the starting lineup where you think it's going to be an absolute shit show. You still sit and watch the whole of the game because that's. Listen, whether we like it or not, by sitting down to watch the game is backing your team. You are watching the game.
What team selections would have changed that result?
Oh, nothing would have changed the result, but
there you go then.
No, but he didn't cover himself in glory with the team that he put up.
Well, it doesn't, Joe. It doesn't matter what players play for Tottenham. The result's always the same. So we could have had Romero, Van der Ven, Porro at right.
Maz, I'm not saying we would have won, but make it a bit of a game. Make it tactically. Try and make yourself a little bit harder to break down.
Same things would
have happened. You took the 1-0 lead. All I'm saying, the next sort of 10, 15 minutes, set us up in a way where we make it really difficult for them to get back into the game. Did we make it difficult for them? Did we stay open? We stayed wide open, and they absolutely rinsed us.
Iggy, I will keep saying it. It doesn't make a difference who plays in our team. It never makes a difference. Ever. We've lost 19 times with every possible configuration of team, right, that we've ever seen. I've seen more starting 11s from Ange and all the different combinations with all the injuries that we've had, right, than any other manager I've ever seen in my life, and we still get pumped regardless of who plays. So it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Okay, here we go. Right.
Welcome back, by the way.
Listen,
it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah, well refreshed. Back in the chair. Listen, gents.
Lee, you missed absolutely nothing whilst you were away. By the way,
I'm sure I didn't. I was watching it all. They're all, you go to other countries and you get all the Premier League games for free, just on normal channels. So you don't have to worry about, Sky Sports and BT and all this rubbish. They were quite late though. We're on about 11 o'clock, so give me a reason to stay up. Listen, I'm fully accepting of defeat at Anfield yesterday, right? From the first minute. That was
From the
obvious.
moment the players went up. And
Yeah,
all went red.
listen, they were going to win that game. But let me tell you now, what I can't accept is just the complete lack of anything from Spurs yesterday. If there was any game where those youngsters could show us what they've potentially got, then it was yesterday, right? Gray, Bergvall, Spence, Udogie, all of them. They all had the ability. They all had the could have given us some kind of fight or some kind of show us what you've got. What I saw was a load of kids just getting walked over. It looked like a Premier League side was playing an under-15s team. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I understand we're saving people for Thursday. I get that. But that doesn't mean the people that are coming into these positions can't fight, can't make a good game of it. I mean, there was laughing and joking about stopping and popping balloons and stuff. And every time Liverpool went out for a throw or a foul, they were given all the time in the world to restart the game. And no one was moaning at them. No one was like, let's get back in this game. It was just complete, like it was they walked out on that pitch like they knew, hey, we're going to lose this game, so what's the point in putting the effort in? It was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely ridiculous.
It was almost like a guest at a party, weren't we?
Absolutely. We were like a third wheel in a menage a trois that no one wanted. So, you like the people that were only allowed to watch at a dogging session, not get involved. That's what it was like. It was just absolutely ridiculous.
Lee, do you know when you realise
nothing about dogging? I know nothing about dogging before you asked. Thank you very much.
Yeah, disclaimer. Lee knows nothing about dogging. You know the bit of the whole game where I literally, it was the moment where I said, "This is a fucking circus. Like this is genuinely pantomime, comedy, banter. We're gonna get ripped in, you arsehole." Right? The moment of the whole game where I thought, "What am I watching?" Like literally, what the hell am I watching? Was when Salah scored. The game's still going on, right? They've got to set the ball up before kickoff. And he's taking selfies with the fans. Did you see that? When he scored? He went over to,
twice, not once. He took one and thought, and actually it weren't the right angle. Let's take another one. I mean, come on. It's just a joke.
Have you ever seen a game of football where the game stopped for a couple of minutes for players to do selfies? Well, we were getting rinsed. I was going to pull out a selfie stick and get the whole cop in. Mate, it was fucking disgraceful. That doesn't happen to any other club, only us.
I think Gary Neville said it on commentary. He said, I think it was before half time when it was 3-1, Spurs are the perfect opposition for Liverpool today.
He's right.
And I couldn't agree more.
All right.
I couldn't agree more.
Look at that smile he's got. He loves it.
No, as soon as I saw we can win the league against Tottenham, didn't break a sweat. I knew it was in the bag.
Joe, when I was 12 years old and I had hair and I was slim and all that stuff, and I actually had a life, I had that smile on my face. It was 1991. We'd just beaten Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. I haven't experienced it since.
So 1991. Maybe one day.
No, I don't know about that. Yeah. Do you know what though? You must be happy with what Arne Slot's done for Liverpool. He's come in and he's just tweaked a few bits. He didn't sign any players, and he's blitzed the league. All right, Man City dropped off, but he still had to deal with Chelsea's and Arsenal's and all these teams, and he's blitzed it. He won it by about 15 points.
What I've been impressed with him, no, what I've been impressed with him the most is the fact that he's been able to improve individual players, more so the team, individual players. You look at someone like Gravenberch, he's completely revolutionized him, changed his role a little bit, and he's been one of the best defensive midfielders in the league this season. I look at someone like Gakpo, the same, especially the Dutch players, those two Dutch players. He's managed to get through to them and he's really improved their game. Many players have improved under him, but I think he's managed.
McAllister has been.
McAllister for me is quality. He's Liverpool's best midfielder. Unreal player. Unbelievable player.
I think he's improved under him.
Everyone was slagging off Soboslai last year, and he got tuned out Soboslai as well. He got
Yeah,
tuned
the
out
midfield. He's really
The
fixed
midfield, I think they're better now. They're probably they were in the last season with Klopp. I think they've come up tenfold.
I think he's just managed to get the best out of all of them.
So strong, man.
He's managed to get the best out of all of them, and I can't fault him for that.
He recovered your left back as well because he was awful last year.
Who, Robertson?
I think this year was a lot better.
No. Robertson's still been bad this year.
No, I think it was better though.
No,
but defensively, they've always been good, and going forwards, they've always been brilliant. But I think the midfield this season, for me, has been. I saw them again the other day. I think the midfield this year is what's made a real difference for them because I thought they were a bit off last year, but this year they were so much better. But then again, against this fucking Spurs side,
no, it's been against every team that we've played. The midfield's been good. I know Spurs make it look better, but against every team, it's been all right.
All right, we're done.
No. Sorry, I just had to throw that one in.
But, do you know, I feel more depressed listening to you being happy, Joe, than what I normally am. I'm happy for you.
You're going to win the Europa League. You're going to be in Champions League next year. It's all good.
Stop this. And do you know what? I'm happy for you because I know you, and I'm actually happy Liverpool stopped Arsenal from winning it. As a Spurs fan, I'd always have Liverpool. I think any Spurs fan would have Liverpool over Arsenal any day of the week winning the league.
Do we know if Andrew's asked to throw the game? That's just one of the things I want to know. Was he asked to throw the game? Anyone?
Well, he's done it. He's done it for 18 other games, so I'm sure one more wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, well, there we
Oh,
go.
you see what I'm talking about? I'm 2 days of this.
He's right though, you know.
The icing on the cake on top of Liverpool winning the league. The icing on the cake will be if you lose 20 games in the Premier League this season. That will really.
Oh, that's happening.
Which means if
that will make
it's only 20.
Right, sorry, when you lose 20 games.
I'm hoping it's only 20. I'm hoping it's only 20.
I don't think Spurs win another game this season in the league. I don't see it. I think maybe a couple of draws. We can get some draws. I don't see us beating West Ham away. Not with that game in between the two Bodo Link games. He's going to have to rotate. I don't see us going away to Villa and winning. Palace at home, I think Palace would get something from it. And then the last game of the season is 4 days after the Europa League final. So if we go to the final, we're either going to be in party mode, just drunk and throw the game, or we would have ended the season winning nothing, and it's going to be the most toxic game we've ever seen in that stadium because it's going to be a big fuck you to everyone, isn't it? Protests and
still, you know, what would be funny.
I don't think we win another game, guys. I don't see it.
Still, you know what would be funny? If Ange managed to get to 20 losses, I guarantee you there'll be more Ange in than when Conte ins when Conte was in top 4 and Ange lost 20 games and there were still people that want him in.
Joe, don't talk to us about Conte on this channel. Do you know? He won.
How's Conte getting on? He's getting on quite well, actually, if you ask me. I don't know.
He's pulled away from Inter, top of Serie A, hasn't he, Conte?
Yeah.
3 points clear with 4 games to go.
Imagine he lost Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia, and he's done that.
And he's still going to go ahead and win the league if they win their remaining games.
And he's turned McTominay into prime Pirlo. McTominay's tearing it up.
McTominay's season, unbelievable. Honestly, what a midfielder. What a midfielder.
Apparently, Conte can't coach players. Very quickly, Tom81, channel member, big up to you, Tom. Good to see you the other day as well. Tony in the house, channel member for 2 years. Big up, Tony, legend. Morton Barley, thanks, Stel. Much appreciated. Yeah, big up to Wrexham. Henry Thong TV, Stel trumpet in. By the way, I stole the trumpet from Iggy. It's actually Iggy's trumpet. I used it to entertain the crowd the other night. So look,
I've not yet seen it. I need to see it.
So you don't need to entertain them. Your Spurs fans are entertained every week. No, that's what your manager said.
No, it took me a while to get that. Then I've got it. It took me a while to get it. Oh my gosh! I want to discuss the goals, guys, because I did an analysis earlier show.
Before we discuss the goals, there's things I want to know.
All right, go on, Maz. You tell us.
There's things that I want to know. I've written them down. I just need to find them again. Where are they still? Where's my little list of things that I want to know? Right. First things first. Did the fans sing for Ange when we were 5-1 down? I really want to know. Because if they didn't sing for him, I want to know why they didn't sing for him. Because last time when we were 5-1 down, they're all clapping and celebrating like we won the league. But this time we were 5-1 down. I didn't hear anything.
It's true. It's true. Last time we were singing.
So I'm just putting it out there. So everyone, all the Anjin people, I want to know if you were singing when we were 5-1 down and you were clapping. Just putting it out there. Another thing as well I want to know is, have we found the mole yet? Because I feel that the mole is one of the reasons why we're on 19 defeats this season, and it's getting to me. Like, we need to know who the mole is, because we're going to get to the 20th defeat and the mole's still going to be at large and none of us will be any of the wiser.
What's the mole supposed to have done though, Mez?
Well, I don't know.
Has it been digging holes in the pitch?
In a, you know, like when you've got a multi-billion-pound corporation, a bit like Tottenham Hotspur,
Yeah,
and the guys that is in charge of like the largest operation of the club is doing a press interview to fans worldwide, and he mentions this mole at the club and how we were going to find them.
I mean, has the mole been like leaking tactics? Because I'm not sure that's really much of a leak.
I heard that the mole was
nicking corner flags.
All the managers know that we only have two defenders at the back, and there's a big open space between, you know, the two defenders in the midfield, and it only takes one ball over the top to.
You know, if I'm a Premier League manager, I need to find out who this mole is, mate. Because you know, I'm not going to know that otherwise, am I?
Well, this is it.
Or we could just watch Match of the Day, I suppose. But anyway.
Also, I want to know that out of all of the games we've seen this season, tactically, why do we still try and pass it out from the back when we've got 100% failure rate?
Because you know what, you know that you keep doing something.
Oh, because you have to believe.
You have to keep doing it. Keep doing it
again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just keep doing it, man.
Maybe. Hold on. Maybe if we back the team more, that it will work next time.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah,
absolutely. That.
Wait, I've got my list. I need to go through it. I just need.
No, I need to ask you a question. What you said though, right? In fact, Lee as well. Iggy's not allowed to answer this because I already said it to Iggy earlier. I was doing a watch along for the game. In the 84th minute of the game, you can all go back and watch it. In the 84th minute of the game, Pape Sarr did something that no other Spurs player did all game. Do you know what that was? 84th minute.
Yeah, he cleared the ball.
He smashed it from out of defence off the pitch for a throw in on the halfway line. You know when you notice that, that's when you know there's a problem. That no one else had cleared the ball in the whole game until then. At 5-1 down, we thought, you know what? Now we'll start clearing the ball at 5-1.
It was a mishit. He was actually trying to pass it to Richarlison, but he missed.
But
it was sensational the way that we kept trying to play it out from the back, and we're getting caught time after time after time. And we got away with a couple as well. Vicario played a couple of passes straight to their attacking mids. Some of the playing out from the back at times was scandalous, man. It was scandalous. They could see the pass wasn't on, and they're trying to force it. It was mad.
Well, it goes on to my next question that I really want to know is Ange ball, when you've got the ball inside your penalty box and you're trying to pass it out, does that also mean that you don't press once you've lost the ball in a really dangerous position, and you just stand there and just watch players run past you? Is it like a zonal system where you're not allowed to run more than a couple of yards either side of where you're standing? Is that a tactic, or is that something that? So I'm just trying to understand what Ange ball is, because if I'm going to back him and he's going to stay next season, I need to understand the tactics, because I'm a little bit, I don't know much about football, so I'm hoping that Ange will teach me.
Well, apparently, if you back the team, they will learn to block a shot, tackle, accurately pass. We just need to back the team more, because the players can't play football if we don't back them. They don't know what to do.
Also, I like
apparently, allegedly,
Vicario. I noticed that he was captain, and after like the fourth goal when he was shouting at the defenders, I was just wondering what he was shouting at them about. Was it like, guys, don't forget the 7 p.m. down at my Italian restaurant down the road? Make sure you guys come. Is that what he was shouting at them at every time a goal went in? It's almost like, or was he shouting at them because they weren't doing Ange ball tactics?
I think he was telling them no pineapple on pizza.
Right.
But olives are all right though, yeah.
Anyway, that's all the questions I wanted to find out tonight, because these are really important.
Do you know what, can I, on a serious note, right?
I'm being serious. No, I'm being serious.
On an additional serious note, we had a guy in the comments yesterday who basically said that he's still backing Ange, he's still backing this project. It takes time, and he's saying that you just got to just get behind the team, right? And there's a lot of fans like that, by the way. I'm not just trying to call him out. It's just that he had the balls to put it in the comments. Well, I don't know if it's balls if you hide behind a computer screen, but he put it in the comments. And I asked this question. I'll ask you guys. If you don't believe in Ange, and you don't believe in what Levy's done here and this team and the direction, he, rather than saying, look, you've got that view, it's classed as, he called it toxic negativity. So I would class him then as fake positivity based on the results and the performances for him to continue to back this. So are we toxic negative? And the second thing he said was that we, or fans like us, are affecting the team. And because we're not fully behind it, and because we constantly criticize and question and call them out, that we are impacting their poor performances. So the second question is, are we having a negative impact on the team? Is that why they're not playing well? And the last thing he said was, things take time. You've got to give it some time. Now, my answer to that was, Ange told me that I'm allowed to feel how I want. He said fans can feel how they want. Let them feel what they want. So I'm showing you how I feel. This is how I feel. I think you're rubbish, and I think these players are overhyped, and I think your tactics stink, and that's why we lose. And he also said, because he was asked earlier in the season, how will you be judged if you're successful or not? And he said, the fans will let us know. They will be the judge. We will know from what. Well, I'm letting you know this isn't successful. And my judgment is you got to go. So when I do the things the manager's asked and I'm behaving the way he's asked, is it fair now for fans who defend Ange to criticize fans like you, me, us for doing the things the manager they're defending asked us to do? I'm doing exactly what Ange said. I'm showing you. I'm telling you. You said to me I'm allowed to feel the way I really want. So isn't there a bit of a contradiction there with people that want to attack our side of the conversation on this? And I'm being serious with this one, because there is a lot of fans, and I know there's a lot of fans that agree with the other guy, the one that thinks we're toxic positive, because when we went to the protests, thousands of fans walked past us shaking their head. So I know there's a lot of them that exist. That's why I say it. What do you make of it, guys? And they are allowed their opinion. They're allowed to think that way. I totally disagree with it, as you can tell, but what do you make of it with fans who are thinking that way? Are they not the problem? Is there an argument saying, do you know what? You're the problem because you allow this shit to keep going on. Is that maybe that's a better answer, to say, hold on, it's not me that's the problem, it's you.
So my answer to, well, I think I know exactly who you're talking about, is...
No, Lee, it was a comment we had in the chat yesterday.
Yeah, I know, and it sounds very similar to other things that I've watched and heard. So,
all right, okay.
Let's just say it like this. I think everyone getting behind we as a collective have picked on certain players, right? Because we think they're crap, and that's fair enough. They're not good enough for Spurs. But in terms of getting behind the team, I like to think every time we go into a match, I'm there watching, getting behind that team because I want them to win. I don't want them to lose. I want them to win, right? And there are fans that are in the stadium still singing and chanting, and as they normally do. Unless we start getting a spanking or something like that, then obviously it's not necessarily getting negative, and there's been certain issues of people calling Ange out, but I don't think we are necessarily picking on the team as a whole. Ange as an individual, yes, but the team as a whole. But to the comment around what we say has a negative impact on those players, I'm sorry, you're delusional if you think that any of those players know anything about us, who we are, any of the Tottenham channels. They have got nothing. They don't know anything. If they do, fair enough. If you're watching, you probably got better things to do in your life than watch our channels with all your money and stuff like that. But we don't negatively affect the players. I'm sorry, I just don't buy into that whatsoever. So I can say what I like. I can be negative if I want to be, because I've been like trodden on for the whole of this season, and it's only getting worse. And but I'm not. I personally am not picking out the players or the team on match days when they go out into those matches until we see what happens. I'm picking on the tactics which is employed by the manager. That's where that's where it lies with me. It's always been with him and the way that he plays, the way he doesn't adapt, etc., etc. So I don't think so. I think they're saying things like that for the sake of saying things, because it's the opposite of what they are. It's as simple as that.
Iggy, Maz, what'd you take on it? I mean, at the end of the day, we're customers, right? We're spoken to and we're treated like customers. When we're asked to pay the highest prices in the land, we expect first-class service. When we're, and this is what I said on the show yesterday, we pay first-class prices and we're given an economy product. I walk into a match, I expect champagne, lobster, steak on the pitch, and I get, a Bombay Bad Boy pot noodle and a Kit Kat. It's not what I paid for. I paid a lot of money. If this was happening and we're paying 10, 15 quid a ticket, would we be feeling this way? Is this money related, do you think? Because we are charged so much at Spurs for what we're being served up.
The answer to that will be is that it's a choice that you make to go to the stadium, to pay the season ticket. It's a choice. I chose this year, for example, not to go. I think I went to one game this season, if I remember correctly, and that's Man City, the cup game. And that's because my brother hadn't been to an evening, or he hadn't been to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and he wouldn't have gone without me. So he said, no, if I'm going to go and see that stand, I want to go and watch the game with you. And that was the only reason why I went. So what I'm saying is it's a choice. I know people are going to say, well, if I give up my season ticket and things do change down the line, then I've lost my season ticket and I'm never going to get it back because of the waiting list. So I understand all sides of the story. But look, this has been going on for a long, long time. I said at the beginning of the stream tonight, I'm watching so many games this season where I feel disengaged. I don't feel like I don't feel connected with this club. I don't know how many Spurs fans out there right now, or maybe not just this season, but for a while, haven't been connected or truly connected. And I told you, the last time I felt truly connected, and then from then on, it just stemmed to the shit show. Last time I was connected was that, that when Conte signed and we made that massive stride to make it from relegation fourth to fourth. Yeah, that for me, I was like, man, I was so involved. I was like so buzzing every week. I was looking forward to what we was, and it was, and after that season ended, I was looking forward to that summer and that following season. That season and that summer and leading into the following season was when I truly felt really engaged again after a long time since Poch left, and that all went away. And then after that, it's just I'll always follow Spurs. I'll always support the team when they're playing. Of course I do. But in terms of engagement, when I feel connected to my team, I just don't. I'm not feeling it, man. I feel like we're in two different paths. My mind and my body, like with Tottenham Hotspur. I'm like, I'm going this way, and they're going another way. That I just can't can't get. I don't know. I don't know how to best to describe. I don't know if it's making sense to you in the panel, and obviously there's everyone at home watching. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to say anymore, and I don't see when that's going to change. I don't see that change. That certainly the change that I'm looking for is going to happen anytime soon. And the fact that you rightly say there's still people out there that just don't get it, or they choose not to see, or they encourage. And you just said yourself in that last protest, people were shaking their heads as they're walking past you. That means that we're not even after a season like this, we still can't connect in a way that this can't go on. This is just not the way forward. If anything, we have regressed massively since 2019. We were talking about with my son earlier, the whole Liverpool Spurs thing from 2019. They went that way and we went this way, and we were so like that at that point in time. Like we was neck and neck. We battered them 4-1 at Wembley that season, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Was it the same season of the cup final where we beat them 4-1 in the league at Wembley? I might maybe I've got my mind, but what I'm saying is it did happen. So from that to this, you think what's happened in the following 6 years? It's unreal. It's unreal because of how it's happening, but yet it's not unreal. It's very real. And how does that change? What's happened since 2019 to now? That's 6 years. And do you see anything different happening between now and the next 6 years? I don't.
Do you know, somebody sent me something today. Since Conte's left, we've trimmed the wage bill. We're paying a manager who's earning a hell of a lot less than the previous manager. Lange is earning half of what Paratici's earning. And if you look at the club as a whole, since Conte's left, everything in terms of financials has been squeezed. That's the only change that's actually happened at the club, is all financial changes. There's no actual change in terms of improvement. So financially, we're more well-oiled, prudent running machine. Everything else has gone the other way, though. The football, everything. The development of the youth has gone to shit. The transfers are the worst we've ever seen. The style of play is horrendous. The results are poor. The losses we're breaking records. Everything football-wise since Conte left has gone backwards. And everything off the field, business-wise, is actually slightly improved.
Well, because he's got infrastructure, investments and projects that need to be funded. And to do that, you need cash flow. And one of the ways you improve your cash flow situation is you cut staff and you cut wages and salaries, which is one of the biggest expenses for a football club. I did say this in the summer when pre and post your Levy-land video still.
Levy-land. Where is it? There it is.
And we knew that was good. We knew that was going to happen. We did that on this channel. We said you watch them cut the wage bill, and it's exactly what's manifested over the last 2 years. And I've sort of kind of forgotten your initial question, but I get the sentiment. What I would respond to it.
And your question is, there's a lot of fans who they back this still, and their argument that they're putting forward now is the reason it's not quite working, this project, is because fans like us are turning against what we're seeing on the pitch. We're turning against what we're seeing high up. That we're not 100%.
We're turning.
Therefore, we are manifesting the problems, as opposed to the problems, I believe, are making us like this.
Well, I don't think that's a serious one. I don't think what they've identified is a serious question or observation. In fact, it's rather deranged. But let's look at it like without joking. I'm being deadly serious. So the chairman comes after Pochettino and makes a series of promises to the fans, stating that he will all of the off-field revenues that the club makes goes directly into the football side of Tottenham Hotspur, i.e. players and wages. He made that promise to us. He released a video where he addressed all of the fans and stressed that he wanted on-pitch success and that all of the revenues that were coming in as part of the new stadium, all of the events, all of the other infrastructure things that are going on is all to do with increasing the revenue and profitability of Tottenham Hotspur, which then will translate into players and salaries. That is what the chairman said, and chairman/owner of the club said. What has happened? We've seen the complete opposite of that. And there's no doubting that he's spent the money, i.e. he spent 700 odd million more than Liverpool have spent, more than quite a few other clubs have spent in that time. But they haven't been on anything even matching near the quality that we've had in the past and that we need. He's also brought in the world's best managers, i.e. in Jose and Conte, and didn't back them. He spent some money on them, but he didn't get them the players they wanted. He got them the players that he / the management hierarchy at the time wanted, which resulted in them failing. We then have the worst manager we've ever seen, the biggest yes man, the ultimate yes man that we've ever seen come to the club, that said, we will be the judges of the success at Spurs and we have every right to dream and to criticise. He also promised me specifically, no one else, that we'll be challenging for the league this year. So I'm waiting for my title challenge, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen with a few games left so far. He also said with gusto to the press that he always wins something in his second season, which isn't actually technically true. He doesn't always win something in his second season, but we'll give him that grace. Let's just say he does, right? And that doesn't look like it's going to happen, because we can't think, oh yeah, we've won the Europa League, because we haven't won anything yet until we've literally won it. So what is there to be happy about? We were promised Ange Ball. We've got our Tottenham back. We've got this amazing football for us to look forward to. We will always play entertaining, daring football. Have we seen entertaining, daring football in the last 2 years? I haven't. Maybe a few games in the first 10 games. But if you recall from those few games, about half of those games, we were very unsure on the tactics. A couple of them were a bit lucky, but we scraped through, and that was entertaining, I guess. But ever since then, it's been an absolute diabolical shit show.
There's two more things. There's two more things that were promised as well. We were told we've got our Tottenham back, and we were told that because of the new FFP and PSR rules coming in, Spurs were in the strongest position to benefit, and that the other clubs would struggle, and the opposite happened.
And by proxy, will be the most powerful and spend the best and get the best benefits.
Yeah.
Will be the beneficiaries of that, and that hasn't happened. We were also promised a youth project. Where's my youth project? The only youth project I've seen is literally destroying our young talent. If that's a youth project, then well, that leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, all the promises. So I'll end on this because we can. I'm sure we're going to go into it more as the show goes on. All of the promises made by Daniel Levy and then Paratici, Lange, Flange, Munn, all of them lot, all of their promises have failed to materialize. Every single one. So why do we need to back this? We've been promised something. We've said, okay. Well, most of the fans have said, okay. And they've delivered something completely different. So what is there to back? They haven't delivered on what they promised us. So therefore, by their standards, I'm unhappy. And I agree with you still. You know, once you start taking into account, you know, the money being charged and expectations of a customer and what we should be receiving, that's it. We can go on for hours about that stuff. But if we just boil it down to what has the chairman promised us and what has actually been delivered, and what has actually been delivered is a steaming pile of shit. That's what we've actually been delivered. That's my assessment.
I just don't think you can put the performances this season on the fans, saying that the ones that have just told it as it is, you know. And the thing is, we'll get into it. When you look at the defensive mistakes we make, these have been happening for 2 years. They haven't been rectified. They've gotten worse. That's coaching. That's management. That is the job of the manager. The job of the manager is to stop these errors from happening. It's to actually develop players that don't make these errors and actually protect the goal, create attacks, score goals. That's the job of the manager. And when we're seeing the same problems every single week, like every week, how do you just back that? How do you say this is okay? Do you know, it's almost like you got a kid and they're struggling with something, and it gets to a point where if you're trying to coach, you're trying to support, you're trying to help, but after a certain period of time, you just got to say, you know what, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're just not good at science. It doesn't click. You're not wired that way. You know, and I think for a lot of fans, you look at it and you think, this chairman, he's not wired the way we as fans need him to be wired. He's wired about money. He's not wired about football. He's had every opportunity in 25 years to get the football right. He's got it wrong. And it just so happens we've got a manager like that now as well, who he doesn't get it. He doesn't get the football. He doesn't get the defensive side of the game. He doesn't get the tactics side of the game. He's been found out and he hasn't got an answer to it. And if you say anything about it, you're a problem. Whereas, well, how much more do you take of it? I mean, I think the question I would say to these fans, the fake positive ones, what is your breaking point? At what point is it too much? At what point do you say this is unacceptable? Because we're currently 16th. It's unlikely we're going to win another league game. We might maybe if win the Europa, but if we don't, then what? We'll be out of Europe next season. We'll be 17th in the league. We're going to have less money to spend in the transfer window. And by the way, the club have come out and said this summer's going to be tough financially. We're going to lose some top players. Then what? This is what they have backed. And then we're going to be sitting here paying the price, the ones who tried to fight against it from happening. We're in a weird place as Spurs fans right now.
It's still, I'm
do you know what?
Really pissed off. I've got to admit, I'm really pissed off about what happened yesterday, and about this whole thing that is still carrying on. And I'm not sure why, because it was expected to be like this, and we knew what was going to happen, and nothing's changed week on week. So is it
okay though to expect it? Is it okay to expect it? That's the problem, isn't it? What that fans have become numb.
Like I said,
Shine called me up today and he said the worst thing at Spurs right now, the worst thing is so many fans are numb to it. We're going into games saying, yeah, we're going to lose. And it's just okay. It's okay to say that.
It's the word that I will fall back on. It's deranged. It's deranged, right? It's not. This is not normal. This is deranged.
That's what I mean.
If you said to those fans,
we're in a weird place because it's not normal.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Let's take a step back. If you said to those fans at the start of the season, what is your expectation? I would wager highly, and the probability will be we should challenge for top 4 or Europe, something along those lines. So when you said at what point is your breaking point, right? I don't even think it's a breaking point. It's going to be like, okay, if that's your expectation to challenge for European football, And as the season's going on, we've fallen so far behind from that expectation. Why are you willing to continue to back this? Because it's miles away from what your expectation is for Ange. Also, as well, you want progression. So if Ange got us 5th last season, surely your expectation is for the fans that really back this. Okay, Ange, at least you're going to get us 5th. At least you're going to get us 5th, and we want better than that. So why are they backing this? It's not a breaking point. This is they're inconsistent against their own logic.
That's why I think
against common sense. Effectively, I was going to say common logic, right?
That's why I think they're the problem. I think they're the problem because
they're literally deranged people, right? The fans that were walking past, shaking their heads. Right. My question to them would be, what are you shaking your heads at? The fact that there's people protesting against the poor performance of the club and the chairman. Is that what or is it our behavior? Because everyone was very well behaved that day.
Maz, they were shaking their heads. They were shaking their heads because in their eyes, just back the club. Why are you fighting against the club? Why are you trying to change it? Back it. Otherwise it won't work. This is the collision we're having.
But the vast majority of fans do back the club.
Well, if you're protesting and you're fighting for change, you're not backing the current.
3,000 out of 62,000 match day. What we're less than 10%. What would that be in percentage term? 4% or whatever it is, 5%. If that's
it's about 2-3%.
Right. So 97% of the fans do back it. No one. They're not singing "Levy out."
But they're shaking their heads at the ones that aren't because the noise online is loud. If you look at the podcast now, if you look at the YouTube pod, look, I think man, what's happening is if you look at the podcasters and the YouTube channels, a lot of them now have turned against Levy, and a lot of them are fed up of Ange. And when they look at the protests, they look at the protests as a reflection of a lot of the YouTube and podcast channels that have now woken up and shifted. So that's why you get these fans that think we're negative toxic, whereas they're toxic positive.
Oh, I see. So what happened with Conte then? When we were the only channel that backed him. Were we the reason? The 0.01%. Were we the reason why that fell?
Do you know what? I actually don't know. It is deranged.
No, but it's deranged, right?
Deranged, yeah.
This is why I always put an emphasis on history, because without history is the most important part of our lives, because it governs everything we do socially, politically, what we need to do going forward. You need history, right? As every second passes, it's in the past. So you need to look at history. Tottenham's history, as we've talked about billions of times in the past, is we win every 20 years or so 2 or 3 or 4 cups. And on average, we finish between 6th and 4th. And sometimes, every now and again during that 20-year period, we might finish 2nd or 3rd. Right? That is our history. That is what we're competing against every time a new decade comes in or the next 20-year cycle comes in. Right? And that will then tell us what we need to do to take either to succeed the past performances or match past performances. And we failed in that. So when they say these things, it's deranged because they're not looking at the history. They're not looking at recent history. They're not looking at what the common logic is of the day. They're not looking at the facts either. They're ignoring the raw data in front of them that you can't deny. You can interpret the raw data, granted. So why are we the problem? Which is why I distilled it down to the percentage. Are they saying that the channels that have now turned against him, against the club, are they the reason why in the last 25 years we weren't successful? If you exclude the last 2 seasons, are they saying that we're the reason why? Because in the previous seasons, we were the only channel. Maybe okay, let's count Sava because he'll feel left out and he'll probably start crying. So we're the 0.01% of all of the YouTube channels. Is that why we never won? It's deranged. I'm sorry, it's deranged.
Iggy, I know you were waiting to jump on this. You had something to say.
What can I say, man? I've been digesting what you guys have been saying over this. I don't know what more I can add to what I said earlier on. It's just, you know, when was the last time we had a really good season that you felt in you that, you know, this was a good season? Because I can't remember. I cannot remember. Like I said, I told you when last time I was excited about what was happening with Spurs. But maybe it was just looking back now, it's just under false pretenses, probably. But it's just really difficult because you know where we've been, you know where we are right now, and you can almost see the future. Like I said, the next 3 to 4 years. I just don't understand where the shift is gonna change. It's a really bleak outlook, and I hate having an outlook like that. Generally, just in the way that I am, having look at things really in a bleak way, and it's not in my setup. So when it's in everyday things, I don't look at it like that. Do you understand? And then even the most difficult stuff, I try to look. Okay, we're going to go through a phase that's going to be a little bit tough, but there is an outcome at the end of it. But when I put my focus on Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, it's very, very difficult to see anything changing. You're thinking we're going to go through this storm, we're going to go through these waves, but at the end of it, we're going to come out of it and we're going to go strong. Normally, that's how things should be. But in Tottenham Hotspur, it just doesn't. In terms of football, I'm talking about. I know the club's in a financial stable place, and this stadium was supposed to be a game changer, and it has been a game changer. My God, but just not in the way that we want it to be. So, you know, everything, you know, off the field, like, you know, the boxing the other night, everything's a massive success at Spurs. You know, we get North London Forever gets played there and everything. It's brilliant, 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 fantastic. But then you're like, from a footballing point of view, it's very difficult because there's you know what the frustrating thing is that if you look at the football team per se, and you look at with a good coach, it wouldn't take a lot to change. I'm not saying to change it to a title-winning team, but it wouldn't take it a lot to make it a competitive team that can climb can make those European spots. Because I truly believe that that's where this team here should be. They should be in that sort of 6th to 7th. You know, that range there. We shouldn't be where we are now. So we're certainly better than what we are. That's for sure. But it goes back, and I know people thinking, "Why we're bashing the owners?" Because the mindset and the target and the ambition, it all stems from them. If you look at all the teams that recently have changed owners, Aston Villa, Newcastle, and so forth, they set the tone for the direction of the club with the coach that they hire, the director of sport that they hire, the players that they bring in, the connection between the fans, players, manager, and unison. That's all set by the owners. That's what's happening with the Villas and Newcastle. That's what's been happening. And, you know, and exciting managers. That's what's happening at Palace. They're in a cup final now. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't take a huge amount to get to that point, but it does need to have a direction and a plan to do so. And we haven't seen any of that. None of that. Not even like an iota at Tottenham Hotspur. And that's, for me, it's hard to like.
To be fair, we have, Iggy. I'll call you out on this. We have been given direction by the club. It's a hotel, concerts, and whatever else they can put on that stadium.
It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about here with football. It has nothing
that's
to
the
do
point.
with that.
That's the point, isn't it?
For me, that's hard, and that's why when people say, you know, like I said, like I massively struggled with Tottenham this season because obviously we are really invested in it. I know we talk a lot of you know, and it's been mostly negative. Of course, it has been. How could you not talk negative on the season that we've had this season in particular? But it's really, really hard from the way my outlook is to do videos, for example, right? I'm always like, you know, like I said, when I was excited, I was waking up in the morning. I couldn't wait to do a video, a Good Morning Tottenham away video with Spurs and talking about this, an exciting thing happened in the summer, or you know, the match that we're about to play and how we're going to play it, players. I've struggled this season to do videos because, and I've said, look, I could be really candid with you guys. I spoke to Sto earlier on and I said, look, I'm really struggling with doing the videos because there's nothing right now that I'm truly get up in the morning. When I think of Spurs, I think I want to talk about this, or I want to the stream tonight on the basis of what we saw yesterday. To do a stream tonight, having to talk about Liverpool, that's tough going, man. And you've got to sit here as a fan, week in, week out, whether we're here like us doing it on here or watching it, or you guys watching it at the stadium or watching it in all the YouTube content and what have you, or reading about it in the media. It is tough, man. And I've said this on a tweet yesterday. We are the butt of all jokes, man. We are the memes. We are the joke of all the fans, all the Premier League fans. Unite on one thing, man, and that is just taking the piss out of us on a constant. Paddy Power, all of them, they all rinse us. And the thing is, yeah, this is the hardest bit. Nearly 99% of it is all deserved. All deserved because we are that club. And until that, there has to be a massive shift on that. And I don't see it happening anytime soon. That is bleak, man. And that, for me, is hard to look at things in a bleak way constantly and not seeing beyond where this can change. That for me drains me as a fan, and I think, you know, the easiest thing to need is to switch off, and that I am. That's what I'm saying early on. I said I'm looking forward to catching up with a lot of Netflix and Paramount and start looking at all these series just to tear myself away from absolute shit show that's been. And if it was just one season where we've had a shit show, you think, you know what, it happens in every footballing. If you've been involved in football or you watch football, the odd season where things don't happen, it can happen, absolutely. A season like this season can happen at any club. But it's every year, man. Every year, like, there's always disappointment after every year. By November, December, January, the season's over. We don't even. At what point do we ever get to a business end of the season in March? And where the business end starts, we're already gone. We're done. We're done for. We are done for. Now we've got this Europa Cup that takes us. If there's any little if there's anything like that's got, we're literally clinging on, aren't we? We are really clinging on to something to happen in this Europa, because it absolutely, for me, even going into the final of the Europa League, whilst it's a good distraction, it really would be a good distraction to have a final to play for. You cannot hide and you cannot get away from the shit show, the shit show that's been happening in the Premier League this season. Absolutely terrible. And
Iggy, every Monday, every Monday after we do these shows, once we all say goodnight and that, have a little look around the internet to see what the kind of weekend news is on Spurs. I guarantee you 80-90% of the time, if I go on Talk Sport, has anyone seen Tottenham Hotspur? Cundy just goes in. Every single week he just goes in on us. Every single week. And tonight, when I go on and have a listen, he's going to do it again because we've got spanked 5-1. Everywhere you go, you're right, we get bantered. We are literally the butt of all the jokes this season.
But it's getting even worse though, because even when I go out like on a Tuesday night or Friday night or whatever to go and play football, you know, and there's loads of pitches, loads of teams, and I'm walking through with my Tottenham keeper top on, all this kind of stuff. I don't even get people taking the piss anymore. I just get random people coming up putting their arm around me, going there.
You get
I'm just getting
donations.
consoled.
That's
I'm just getting consoled
even
now.
worse. That's even worse.
That's the Amazon driver comes and I've got me Tottenham top. He opened the door and he went, "Oh, Spurs supporter. Sorry about that." Yeah, I know what you mean. No more joke. I want people to take the piss. I want people to joke. Now it feels like it's all pity. Everyone is pitying us, and that's worse than people taking the mick. I was like, oh, drained. But listen, guys, listen. I'm just gonna have to say this really, really quickly as well because I as I said to a couple of guys before we went live, I'm apart from the Europa games, I'm checked out for the Prem. I really am. I can't even get the effort to watch it anymore. And I'm really am concerned about next season. Now I don't care what anyone says, and this is just my opinion. It's not right or wrong. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't care if he wins the Europa. He can't be at the club next season because I can't go through another 12 months of watching this, especially now that the club is now saying we've got to sell to buy. And what that actually means is we need to sell our assets that are worth money, i.e. the Romeros, potentially the Kulus, potentially the Porros. I mean, Porro's name came out of nowhere. That's a baffling one to me, that the club are open to offers for him. We are not, based on our performances this season, none of those youngsters that we've bought or anything like that are going to have any value to them, or it'd be very stagnant. It's not going to have gone up or anything like that. So by selling those assets and even some of the Richarlisons and stuff like that, which we're probably not going to get any money back on, we are then in a situation in the summer where anyone that thinks that we're going to be buying ready-made players in those positions, unless we get rid of all of the hierarchy and the scouting and stuff to get someone in that can find those gems that other teams find, then next year could be even worse to live through than this. And I could be switched off very, very early because we sell Romero. Listen, if I'm in Levy's shoes, I sell Romero. I've got Danso. I've got Dragusin. I'm probably going to just pay for Danso, and it's going to be the cheap option. I've got Van der Ven. I've got Phillips. Why do I need to buy another one? Keep that money where it needs to be spent. Son, hold on. We've got Odeberg. We've got. I hope we don't sign Tell because he's the most bang average player I've ever seen. Where do people think that all of these ready-made great players are going to come from? They're not. We're going to end up buying cheap again, or kids.
The same
it's
people
going to turn into Neverland.
Lee, the same people who say we're going to be fucked next season, not you, are the same people that defended the chairman when we were standing here, being called every name under the sun, saying this chairman has got to go because he's not backing the managers. He hasn't put in place a smart, astute, tactical approach to the transfer market to compensate us not being able to compete with the Uniteds and the Real Madrids. You've got to win in the transfer market then. Build a network of scouts around the world. Listen to them. Put in a philosophy with the right manager that you back. He had 25 years to do that, and he hasn't. And we were saying this. We were saying this for years. And now, all those that had a go at us and had a go at people like, this channel and a few others that said, Nick out, Levy out, they're now saying, do you know what? We might be fucked next year. Do you think we've been banging on about? It's the biggest U-turn ever. I'm hearing fans now saying we might be fucked. But fucked because you didn't want to stand up and fight for change when the time was right. Now it's desperation time. Now it's, we're moving to DEFCON 1. Going to start launching.
Well, still, and this is why I was really, when I wasn't on the show last night, but I watched some of it and then I caught up with the rest of it today. But this is why I was really disappointed when Dan said and Alex said, let's not talk about Levy tonight. You can't not talk about it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to let them do that, though. I wasn't going to let them.
No. I know. And I know they mean well. But you can't. I can never accept us not referring back to that guy because everything goes directly to him and how he operates the club, every facet of it. So even when you do want to focus on the manager and the players and nothing else, all roads lead back to Levy, because he implements the structure around the team. He implements the ethos. He implements the coaching staff, or hires the coaching staff. He hires the medical staff. He hires the secretary. He hires the toilet cleaners. Everything you can think of is down to Levy and the board, who he selects, because it's under private ownership.
Well, Naz, just to add to that as well, just to go show how incompetent he is, right? Listen, I don't own a company. This guy owns $1 billion company, whatever it is. I get that, but who in their right mind, right? You know that the thought whether to keep Ange is in his head, right? I personally think he's probably going to lean towards letting him go based on the league performances, whether he wins Europa or not. But what kind of stupidity is it when you come out and say, if you're thinking, right, I'm going to get rid of him, I know that's my position, I'm going to stick to it, then comes out and makes comments to say, we're not going to have a lot of money next summer, we're going to have to sell players. Any manager in their right mind is going to go, I fancied that job, maybe not so much right now. They're telling me that I'm going to have to sell. Well, who are you going to sell? You're going to sell your best players. Why am I going to go in there and know that I'm going to be so restricted and I'm going to be stuck with the same kind of squad than what Ange has had? Now, we all believe, and I think we do all believe, that certain coaches can get a better play out of these players than what Ange does. But that still doesn't... you still got to take... With the likes of Romero, Porro, these are all senior players, right? And the restrictions we're going to have with buying people, we could literally have a squad full of kids or a squad full of bang average players that no coach can get, a tune out of. I think he shot himself in his foot by saying all of that publicly, because there's going to be people that might have been looking at that position and thinking, I think I might be restricted. I don't think it's for me now.
Lee, do you know what? I'm torn, I'm really, really torn, big time, because I'm in a situation where I really, really want Spurs to win trophies. I so want us to have a parade and get drunk and sing songs. And if Arsenal were to not win the Champions League and Spurs won the Europa, what a field day we would have. I mean, we'd have the best 3 months this summer. We would run riot as Spurs fans with that. But at the same time, and this is where I'm torn, if we win the Europa, it saves Levy's arse like nothing has saved him before, because he gets that monkey off his back. There's your fucking trophy, Spurs fans. He gets the Champions League money. That's what he's about. And he will turn around to us and say, you see, low wages, not superstar signings, you can win trophies. And it will be the biggest fuck you to us. And that gives him the mandate to continue down the road.
No. Stop.
No, but Lee,
stop.
Wait. I'm not agreeing with it. Hold on, I'm not agreeing with it.
Win the trophy first, and then we can have all those debates. I can't sit here tonight. I can't anyway. Say, well, for that not to happen, let's not win a trophy. Let's not win a trophy.
No, I never said that. I said I'm torn.
No, I'm not saying that.
I want the trophy.
I don't want that to come.
I don't want him to get the green light.
I don't want it to come across as that's what you're saying, because that's how it could be interpreted. Someone watching,
people understand what I mean by that.
Someone watching you or hearing you saying that can be interpreted that you are hoping that we won't, just so Levy doesn't say that, and that doesn't.
No, I said I'm torn. I want a trophy. I said I'm torn because I want the trophy. I don't want Levy to get a green light that this is how to win it, because then we're going to have this for another 25 years, and he'll get the green light. He'll get the mandate to do it.
Your effing mind that this season, if you win a Europa League, all right, and that would be great. That this is the way forward. The way.
Tell that to Levy though. He gets.
No. It can't happen. Listen, there's no way. No way.
But Iggy, this is what I mean. This is why I'm torn, because if you're the board of directors, how can anyone cuss you? Because what they will be able to say is, Did you or did you not win a
And this is
trophy?
the point I was worried about, by the way. This is
Right,
the
Man
point
United
I
didn't
was-
win a trophy.
Read that. Read that. This is what I was worried about when you were
Still
talking.
can't say it, but I can. The worst thing that can happen to us is to win the
No. There was
Europa
another
Cup.
one. Hang on, there was another one I
But
saw.
this is. Look, if you said to me, Stel, your life depends on it, Europa Cup or not, I'm taking the trophy. Of course I am. All day long, because it's a memory that I will forever be able to take with me and say, I've seen Spurs win a European trophy. I've seen it. I've been there. Like I did when Greece won the Euros. I felt that. I know what it looks like. When Spurs won the FA Cup and we beat Arsenal, I know what that looks like. I know what it feels. I know what it means. So I will always take the Europa Cup because I've never seen my club win a European trophy. I've never seen us do that. So I will take that. I want to experience it. But Daniel Levy will say, low wages, won that. Buying a bunch of kids, won that. A manager on low wages, won that. So the answer, going forward, is this low wage method.
I understand.
Do you understand where I'm going from? In his head, he will be able to put that on you. He'll be able to say to you, "What are you talking about?"
What? No. But
that's what's going to happen.
But here's the thing, right? You've got in that scenario, you have to give the devil its due, right? Because it's a reality. It's a fact that it happened, right? But
yes,
we know that it's not repeatable because that is not.
Tell that to Levy, though. Tell that to the board of directors and tell that to Sky Sports, who are going to jump on this and say, "Hats off to Spurs. They've done it on the low wage bill. What a model!"
No, because if they do that,
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Because if they do that, then they'll perpetually be fighting relegation, like they have done this season, almost. Right? If not, we'll get relegated. So they'll quickly change because they'll go into that next season operating the way we're operating, and Andrew will carry on, and we'll lose 10 games in a row at the start of next season, and then they'll hit the panic button, and they'll be like, obviously this isn't sustainable.
I just have one reply to a one-word reply. 18th.
I just don't look, guys. I just don't want a scenario where we feel just to make the point. Look, I think these owners, right, have been an absolute shit show in football terms, and it's been just want them out. I want them gone. Now, regardless, for me, that situation shouldn't change, even if we win the Europa Cup. I really don't. I don't think that can mask anything that we've done up until that point. And if you think that winning a trophy, as much as I won that, right, would make me change my mind over these owners or what they've done in order to win that trophy, absolutely no, man. I can't accept that. But at the same time, just to put more heat on the owners and this shit show that we've seen up to now, to not win a trophy, this is not what I want. Of course, I want us to win a trophy. And I just don't want that to be misunderstood in any way or form. That's all I was trying to say.
No, I've said it. If you gave me the choice now, win the Europa.
Of course, yeah. No, I understand.
I'm taking the Europa on the basis I've never experienced it, and I don't know when my next trophy is going to come from. Right, as a fan, this is what we as fans, we just want a trophy. The real fans, the normal fans, not the ones that are deranged that Maz was talking about. There's quite a few of those, right? The normal, sensible fans, give us a trophy, we'll fucking bite your hand off. We want it. But I'm just worried, and this is why I'm torn. If we win it under these circumstances, we're given the green light.
This could be the model for the future. I get it.
Yeah, this is the model for the future. And it's like,
because it's no. I don't think you've thought about what you're saying through. I don't mean it disrespectfully.
Maz, I don't like. Look, change the manager. We're not getting relegated. We're mid-table to top 6, right? So that's not a problem.
That's the norm anyway. Yeah, but that's the norm anyway.
Right, but we won't ever push on and invest in a way to win the league because in their heads. But we won a trophy doing it the other way. We just need to keep doing the other way.
We haven't done that in 25 years.
Correct. But if we win that Europa, it changes the argument for them.
No, it doesn't. Because
of course it does.
No, to you, maybe, Maz. To you, it might not. To me,
not to you. I'm talking. I'm acting as if I'm in the board.
Yeah,
exactly.
No. Okay. Let's say we win the Europa League, right? What they're gonna
Yeah.
what they're gonna do that's out of the ordinary of what they've already done from the previous seasons. What they're gonna do? Stop spending money?
No, but they're not going to increase the wage bill to go and get those elite players that can challenge for the Premier League.
But
they're
they've
not
never
going to
done that.
Right, but if Maz, if they don't win the Europa this year, their model has catastrophically failed.
That's not the argument.
has failed.
No, but that's
So
not
then,
the argument.
so
though,
then
is it?
we as a fan can say your stupid model, your
Yeah.
stupid cost cutting is a disaster. But if they win the Europa, they can say no, it worked. Do you understand?
No,
what I'm
because
trying
it
to say?
didn't work for Wigan when they won their FA Cup, did it?
No, but we're talking about Spurs.
Yeah, but I'm giving you an example. It
Our
didn't
argument
work for
isn't going to be
Man
here, but
But it didn't work for Man United. That their fans still wanted the Glazer that, even though they got them 2 trophies.
no, it didn't work. But if you're on that board and you win a trophy that gets you into the Champions League, that gets you where you want to be, and you've given the fans a trophy they're craving for, in the board of directors' heads, the model worked. And where's the argument then? What's our argument then?
What model? Because the
Low wages, buying kids, a manager that's
but they do
just
that
a
anyway.
random.
Still, no, but they're doing that anyway. Still, that's my point.
Yeah,
Nothing
but this
has
gives it
changed from
validation. But this now validates it. It gives it validation now.
No, because what's going to happen is once the accounts come out and you see how much money we've hemorrhaged, right, this financial year or the one just gone, right, they're going to look at that and think, well, that wasn't good. We're down on this metric.
No,
we're down.
but then
on
you've
that
just
metric,
given
we're
them
down on that.
£100 million of Champions League money by winning the Europa. So they're like,
Yeah, but that's not repeatable. They'll be daft to think that's repeatable using that model, because then you have to rely on winning it every year, and that's never going to happen, is it? So
no, but in their head, Maz, if you win a trophy spending 50 million, why are you going to spend 150 million to try and win it when you've proven it in your head that I can do it for 50? Let's just try and repeat that one again, and that's what they'll do.
Where that argument falls down, the argument falls down is they've implemented that model before without winning anything. Therefore, if they win something, it's not going to make them think, "Oh,
but
yeah,
we were
just
building the
carry on. They were doing
stadium
that anyway."
But we were building the stadium, but COVID came along. Now that's gone. Look, it worked. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you. I know exactly how this story goes. And then we're going to be sitting here.
Two different things. I think we're arguing two different things.
What I'm saying is, if we win the Europa, it gives validation to the board that the way they've gone about it, it works. The cheap way. They've done it the cheapest way possible. Cheap manager, cheap wages, cheap
but they've
players.
Been doing it. No, I don't agree because yeah. No, I don't agree because they've been doing it the cheap way for 25 years, right? But, the thing that has changed is they've spent in the last 5 years a lot more money in terms of physically acquiring players than they ever have done before in the past. But the salary cap has been on a downward trajectory for quite a long time, right? And even in the last 2 seasons, before we've won something, right, they've already set the model of having a low salary headline figure, right? A low salary cap. So I don't think that once they've won, they'll think, oh, yeah, the system works. They already think it works. That's why they're doing it.
But this validates it now. This is like the stamp of approval. You understand?
And I guess that's the micro we're arguing about. I don't think they need validation from that sort of stuff. Their validation is, can we get away with spending the money? Yes or no? Not whether it's bringing in a trophy or not. Because the fans aren't protesting and knocking the house down. So that's
but it's building momentum, Maz. It's got a lot of momentum at the moment.
I
it's
agree
building
on that front.
I
agree.
Look, all the years I've been fighting for this, and you've heard the same thing. Oh, but look where we were when we took over. We were never challenging for top 4. And then when you push back on that, yeah, but we had to go through a difficult period because we're building this stadium so we can compete. Yeah, but the stadium's been built. But then COVID came along. It crippled us because we had finances and debt. Right, COVID's gone. All right, there's your trophy now. We're fucked. because the board will say, we know what we're doing, and that's why we got the trophy. And we're going to sit going, oh, no.
Still, I understand your concern. I understand your concern and where you're going from. I do. It's not that I don't understand your point. I do understand it fully, and I partially agree with it. I think that they're far beyond needing validation of trophies, because if they needed that type of validation to change their model, then it would have bothered them for the last 25 years, but it never has.
I'll make a prediction right now. If we don't win the Europa, the last game of the season, you will see the mother of protests. Because all those sitting there, clinging on, waiting, they'll be done. Because they would have seen us finish 17th, trophyless, and the season ticket renewals will be a couple of days after, and we're going to have no Europe next season. And the club already said, don't get excited about transfers this summer. And that's the club's biggest worry right now, is that protest actually becomes massive. But if we win the Europa, the board will turn around and say, you can protest all you want, man. We got it right. You guys out on the street making noise.
That's where. But I'm gonna be honest,
and that's why I'm torn.
Yeah, but that's where I'm with Iggy. I want to win. I don't care the circumstance.
I'm the same. I want the trophy, but there's a consequence as well that comes with it.
Yeah, there's a consequence, right? And I'm willing to take the consequence.
Do you know what?
Because it could be worse. It could be worse. Sorry, I'll finish up on this. I know I've taken a lot of time. Right? It could be worse. We could be 7th or 8th, right, and win an FA Cup under Ange, and we've bloody stuck with him for the next 5 years.
If he wins the Europa, Ange is here next season. By the way, if Ange wins the Europa, I think he'll be here next year, guys. I don't think they'll sack him. Yeah, I don't think they will.
I think he would have bought himself another season at the very least while winning the
That's what I think.
The European trophy that hasn't been seen at Spurs since 1983. So, you know, he would have bought himself. He would have, in my opinion, would have given himself some oxygen for next season. But listen. I hear it all, man. But at the end of the day, man, how many times have we all sat here? And 84, sorry, my apologies. Thanks, Mark. How many times have we all said that? Many of us here in the past, I'll take 17 for winning a trophy. We've said it at one point. I have the diet too. Yeah. So if that materializes, where it actually happens, where we bring a trophy home and we finish 17th, we'll have to say, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll take it, man. Because at the end of the day, we've all said we're quite happy concede not making top 4 in order to get a trophy for one season. I'll take, but this can't be absolutely right. It can't be the model to future years in having a season like this and it gets compensated by winning a trophy. No, absolutely, it can't be the way forward. But we've been starved of trophy for so long, that at any cost, man, just bring a trophy home. Obviously, not to the relegation cost.
You know why that question? I find it really antagonizing, right? Because they're using that question as a stick to beat us with, and it's their last resort because they don't have an argument.
Of course,
to say, oh yeah, but you guys said that if you finish 15th, you know, and you're a trophy, you'll be happy. Yeah, under a theoretical circumstance where we haven't won trophies for 16, 17 years, and you're offering us a trophy and 15th, of course you can, with the benefit of foresight, right, and magic. Of course you'll take it. If you said to me now, will you take 15th in a trophy next year? I'll be like, yes. If you said to me, will you take a 15th in a trophy the following year? I'll say yes. Why would anyone say anything different in that scenario?
But why can't you be the situation when you have a competitive team who gracefully honor all the competitions, All right. No one's asked to win everything, every trophy going, but to honour and be competitive and not go to grounds like Anfield. I know Anfield's a really dodgy ground for us, like Chelsea is and so forth. But to go there and at least compete, to play a match, to play a dignified game, where we perform and we try to tactically outclass our opponents. Sometimes it may happen. Most often we might lose in those grounds. That's fine. I can accept that. But to go there with a really soft, defeatist approach, waving the white flags before the match has even started, and even worse, you worsen after going 1-0 up. You know, for me, man, that's not a dignified way. That's not a very competitive battle. It's not. You're not. There's so many teams out there, right, that have a far inferior team on paper, at least, and they go to look at Ipswich and all the teams that are beneath us that have been relegated, and they've gone to grounds and they've put up more of a tactical battle, a physical battle, and so forth. They might have got a point, they might have not, but they've gone there dignified, honouring the match and doing their best to try and get a result. We've gone to so many games this season. 19. I'm not just talking about the 19 games that we lost. We've been other games as well where we've just we just haven't gone there with anything. And that, for me, to go into these games in that approach, you're already known from the minute you guys just said earlier on, for looking at the team lineup and you're thinking, we ain't gonna fucking win it. We're not gonna do anything here. We've been in a position where we've been in the lead at Brighton away. We was 2-0 up at half time, lost the game. The manner that it all unfolds, for me, that's unacceptable. That for me is what hurt me this season, where with so many games where from an advantage situation, how many times we've taken the lead and lost the games. You know, it's just, you can't tactically, gung-ho attacks, completely bypassing the defensive side of the game. For me, it's unforgivable to not be able to defend, or to, even worse, completely nullified, like as if it doesn't exist, that part of the game. To insist on playing from the back when you don't have the players to do so. I just so many factors. It's not just about winning, drawing, and losing. Just so many factors have been put in place where it can't be acceptable at this level of football, man. It's not even acceptable at Sunday League level, amateur level. How can it be acceptable at an elite level?
Do you know? You know, yesterday, honestly, was one of the worst defensive displays. I actually want to go through a few things very quickly because I didn't realize the show was going to go in this direction, but that's what we do on Tottenham away. You never know what you're going to get. But Iggy, look, this is why Ange has to go. Right? You look at the first goal. This shape's fine. The back four in a good line. The three midfielders, there's circles around them. They're in good position. And then you've got the left and right forward have dropped back into midfield. They're in squares. I look at that shape and I think this is okay. Now, the ball gets played wide, and I've circled Archie Gray. He's realised he's let his man go. So he then drops back, and now he's goal side. You're thinking, well done, Archie. That's what I expect from a 6. You recognised it. But then, as soon as he gets it right, he loses him. And he lets him go. And there's the problem. But it's not just him.
How's that player gone from
1 minute. Behind? It's not just him. Look at Danzo. Right? Danzo and Spence, they've sandwiched Lewis. He goes. They've lost their man. So for me, from a position where the team shape-wise, I'm not knocking the tactic or the strategy here. This is okay. The issue is you've got two players who just switch off and they let the man go.
Where's
Now,
the cover still in any of them? Where's the cover? If Gray loses his man, where's the cover for Gray? If you see here, right? Even if he slips behind him,
where's the cover for Gray here is Ben Davies.
Ben Davies. Everyone stays in straight lines.
Ben Davies is the cover. So when the man goes,
Where is he? Where is he there in that cover? Where is he?
Ben Davies stood still. He tried to play the offside
And
trap.
then the next shot. Where's the cover? Where's the cover?
Yeah, they've switched off.
No one sees danger. Nobody sees defensive danger.
See now here's the thing, right? With that, we could say, right, Gray, that's your fault. Danzo, Spence, that's your fault. But this is the issue I've got. I see this every single week. Every single week I see stuff like that. Your job as a manager is to get a player, pull him to one side and say, let me just show you some video footage. Let me show you some images here. Can you see what you've done? Can you see how you've switched off for that second? They're not being coached, man. I'm telling you, I've been saying this all year. They're not being coached one-on-one, not to the level we need. Because this happens. Go to the next goal. Go to the next goal. Maddison has got the ball. I've circled him. I've put an arrow to Vicario. Pass the ball to Vicario and let him kick it out. What does Maddison do? He passes it there. Why would you put the ball there? Now you've created a 50-50 battle in a dangerous place between Tell and the Liverpool player. Luckily, Tell's quicker. Tell gets to the ball. Then look what Tell does. He can now kick it off for a throw-in. He puts it there. And now you've created a 50-50 battle. Gray gets bullied. I've jumped forward here. And then that's where McAllister came in and he gets the shot away. See, now I look at that. Why is Maddison looking to go there? Why are you looking there? Why you're a smart player, Maddison. You're a good footballer. You can see Vicario's unmarked. Why don't you go there? It's been coached. Get it to the flanks, build up the play from the back. Tell's got the ball. Tell, kick it off. No. I've got to turn. I've got to get this is the transition. This is how I've been coached. That is coaching that doesn't work. So in the first goal, where you've got Gray and Danzo switching off and they haven't been coached to stay alert, I'm now looking at when they are coached, they're coached things that cause problems. This is why, for me, Ange has to go. And I see this every single week. The third goal is the best of the lot. There's a corner kick and they don't beat the first man, right? I've circled Bergvall. He headers the ball where the arrow is. Why is Bergvall heading the ball edge of the box? And why is there a player unmarked edge of the box? Go look at the Nottingham Forest game, guys. Go look at the Nottingham Forest game when Anderson scored. The same thing happened, except instead of Bergvall, it was Porro. Porro headed it to the edge of the box, and no one was marking the player's edge of the box. So he puts the ball there. Johnson tries to slide in. He mistimes his tackle. Then Davies, you can see that Johnson's on the floor now because he didn't time his tackle right. Then Ben Davies goes out. Gakpo sidesteps Davies, and it's a goal. So you've got Bergvall heading it into the penalty area. You've got Johnson sliding in and missing. Davies too slow. Where's the coaching? By the way, that was almost identical to what happened against Forest. So from the Forest game to this game, the same thing's happening from a set piece. They're not being coached, man. So whether you want to blame Zedina...
they are being coached, but what they're being coached is on the transition when you win the ball back, even if it's in defence, then playing it out from the back is the way forward. Not hoofing it up the pitch like we're all shouting, get out of it. It doesn't matter where you are. It's a case of play it out from the back, transition, play it between yourselves, even in dangerous positions, which is mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And this is why we're saying, and you said at the beginning, I've never, finally we got to see someone clearing the ball out after we're 5-1 down, right?
Yeah,
that should be happening whether we're 1-1 or 2-1. If you've got a ball in a dangerous position in your area, you clear it, because the whole point of you clearing the ball is for you to get the attack out of your box and get back into a solid defence, right? That's, you can reshape yourself, reshuffle yourself. Whereas they just play themselves into danger. It's madness. It's absolute madness. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, so with that, Lee, they're being coached to do that. So the coaching doesn't work.
Yeah.
But with the other goals, where you've got Gray, Danzo switching off, you've got Bergvall headering the ball from a corner into the danger area, that is a lack of coaching, because I see that. I see the errors every week, and then I see the playing out from the back, regardless of where the opposition are. I see that every week. That hasn't changed in 2 years.
No, I completely agree. And one of the things that I picked out, and I sent you guys a message on this yesterday, I was absolutely amazed at how narrow sometimes we are, and that's because of the fullbacks inverting. The two fullbacks for Liverpool, some of the points yesterday could have literally set up a house, a barbecue. They could have been having a party on that sideline, and even with the ball coming to them, they will still have had all the time in the world. They had so much space; it was unbelievable. I just don't get how we've said this season. We said it last season. How they must not watch back the performances, because anyone with half a brain cell would look at that and go, Gaffer, we are giving the opposition and potentially the most dangerous players all the space and time in the world, right? Who in their right mind wants to give Salah enough space where he can run at your fullback, or even not your fullback, because your fullback's inverting, at one of your central defenders, and you know exactly what Salah's going to do, right? He's going to come at you, he's going to cut in, and he's going to score, which he done exactly that yesterday. Well, you can't keep doing that and think you're going to get away with it.
Well, yeah, look at the fourth goal. So they get the break because Kulu's lost possession of the ball. He didn't want to pass it to Spence on the left flank. You've got a 4-on-4. So you're thinking, right, all we've got to do here, one player go to the ball, every other player go to a man. They move the ball up the pitch. Look at the distance, especially on the flanks.
Doki's not even looking at Salah.
Doki's got his back to Salah. And then you've got further up the pitch, I think is it Bergvall that's dropped? I think so.
Yeah.
He's given the distance. The only one that's in the right place right now is Danzo. Even Davies hasn't shut down Soberslai. The ball ends up with Salah out wide. He skips past Sadoki. He walks past him, and then it's just shot, goal. And then the whole thing that you look at it and I think, but how many times have you seen that happen to Spurs? Bodo Glimt did that. Not Bodo Glimt. Frankfurt in the first leg did that many times. AZ Alkmaar at their ground did that to us a few times. This isn't a one-off. It hasn't been coached. It's not been coached.
It's not the coaching that worries me. It's the as we said earlier, it's just keep going. It's gonna work. It's gonna work in the end. And his philosophy still is from day one, we score more than them. Don't worry about the defending. We're going to let in goals. We just need to score more than they do. And that is just not working for two reasons. A, we haven't got a good enough front three to actually score all the goals. And we're so open at the back that we're conceding more. So that logically, it just doesn't make any sense. A couple of tweaks, as I said, another coach, a few tweaks. I don't think this is team as bad as 17th. I really don't, and I will stick to that. But I'll just say this because I know we're going to close up soon. I know you said about the fact that you think he'll get another year next year if we win the Europa. With now what Levy said about it's going to be a tough summer selling our players, if he remains here, then it could be worse than it is now, because there are some players that have, really have kept us in it to an extent, but if they're gone, throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks, because it could be next season could be worse than this season.
If Ange's here, yeah, but I think he gets at least the start of next season. He gets at least the start.
I think we've got a few players in there that are not. I don't think will want to continue with Ange as manager.
I don't think a lot of them will, Iggy.
If they win the Europa,
I don't even think Son wants to continue with Ange as manager.
He needs to be sold.
And someone made a point earlier as well when we were talking about selling certain players, etc. Someone made a comment, and I apologise, I'm not calling you out, but I thought it was an interesting comment, and saying if we win the Europa, we won't need to sell the players. Unfortunately, those players it's not about selling the players. The likes of Romero are already gone. I'm sorry to say it, my opinion, but the guy's already gone. Whether we win Europa or not, he's gone.
He's gone.
When a club comes out and one of the positives of the year, Porro and his crossing, although we don't utilise it enough, they're open to offers for him. There's the ambition of the club, right? See you later. I just us winning Europa will change nothing. Maz, you're on mute, mate.
I'll tell you. Sorry, I'll tell you another thing that we can end on, and a more happier note. The players that are actually worth anything. So Van der Ven, Maddison, and maybe Porro. Right, they're going to get approached by other clubs, and if they've got anything about them as individuals, they'll be thinking, you know what, I don't want to be at Tottenham, especially if Ange stays. There's no way that those players believe in him anymore. You can't.
Maddison's been checked out for a long time.
Oh
mate.
yeah,
he's got more than one brain cell.
I mean, even Bentancur. I mean, let's think about it. Even Bentancur and Basuma, they're not players that want to be fighting for relegation and stuff. But Bentancur, he was at Juventus. He's not going to be wanting to hang around.
Kulu will want to go. There's already been rumours.
Yeah, they're in big trouble, and this is goes. I'm not going to rehash it, but this goes back to why I don't think they're going to look at this and think it's sustainable. Because even if they win it, those players are going to be like, "Brilliant, I've won it. I'm going to be. It's more likely that I can move now because at least I've won something while I've been here."
Leave on a high. Iggy, there's a guy in the chat called Quinny who keeps asking this. So
Yeah.
cut them away. Ask Iggy about Vincenzo Italiano at Bologna. Good enough to be Spurs manager. Is this another? Who's the guy that was? Is this another De Zerbi?
No, I remember I sent you some stuff of him, didn't I, the other day? He's been an up-and-coming manager for a while. He's done really well in the teams that he's been in the past, and Fiorentina last season. He's Bologna, the first cup final in 50 years. They were an Italian Cup final this year. He's well on course to getting a Champions League spot in the fourth, which is really unheard of for Bologna. Really good manager, man. Really exciting. Proper loves his pressing. He often plays a 4-3-3, but he's mainly played 4-2-3-1, maybe adapted to the players that he had. And then they haven't got big, huge names.
What was that word you said, Iggy? What?
Yeah, I knew you'd jump on that. But he's an exciting manager. Could he be a Spurs manager? Of course he could be a Spurs manager. But the thing is, what he has done at Fiorentina and Bologna this year as well, he's been fully backed in the sense of not to go and get elite players, but he's been backed to get the players that he's wanted to make things, his style of play, work for what he wants. It's very intense, very, very animated on the sidelines. Unheard of for an Italian, but very animated on the sidelines in a similar fashion that Conte can't keep still.
I prefer that to.
But he is so driven, and he's done so well. Like I said, man, first cup final for Bologna in 50 years, and he's an exciting manager. Can he come to Spurs? Yeah, listen. But there has to be a reason why he'd have to come at Spurs. The money. It'd have to be paid. He'd have to be paid shitloads of money to come to Spurs because he ain't coming for the project. That's for sure. We've seen the project at Spurs, and it's never a winning one. So I don't know, man. Would he leave over there? Would he leave what he's got going on at Bologna next season?
He can work with Udogi and Vicario, fellow Italians. Might woo him,
and he can continue doing something really good that he's been doing, and keep going in an upward spiral for his own career, or would he gamble it all to come to Spurs? And how often has it all gone tits up for managers coming to Spurs, or how often has it gone wayward after they leave Spurs?
If he calls Conte for some advice, he ain't coming. We called Antonio for some advice.
The thing is, how many managers have left Spurs? How many managers have left Spurs and their careers have gone, like, you know, gone on to be even better? It's I mean, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about up and coming managers, not stable managers like Conte and stuff like that. I'm talking about
Nuno's doing better at Forest. Conte smashing it at Napoli. Jose I think he took Roma to their first. He won them a European trophy. He won them a European trophy, didn't he?
Finals, yeah. But they are established managers still. We knew that Jose Mourinho and Conte, even if they leave Spurs, they will go on to do well. You know, I'm talking about. Yeah. That's I for a lot of these managers, and I'm not just talking about Italiano. I'm talking about the Crystal Palace manager, who's, you know, many people like him, and even the guy that Areola at Bournemouth. All these managers, you look at these guys and you think. Now we all know they all have qualities about them. This guy's got qualities. The manager at Bournemouth has got qualities. But can they? Are we going to get the best out of those guys coming to Spurs? Would they be coming to make Spurs better, and will they be back to take Spurs to new heights? That's the question mark for me, man. I don't know, man. I worry for these managers if they come to Spurs. You know, because I don't know. It's true, man. Do you think they're going to be successful at Spurs? It's the context coming into.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Iggy. It's when they get rid of Ange, I can't see what manager in Europe would want to come to Spurs. I know money's a big talker, and we don't know everyone's circumstances, and I'm sure there's managers that will look at it as opportunities. But let's be honest, a young manager that knows that they're good and they're going to have a few clubs that are going to be interested to them, do they really want to go to Spurs and almost tarnish their whole future? You know, it's different for Ange because he's coming, you know, he's getting on. It's his last big payday, let's say, right? And he's probably never going to get an opportunity to ever manage a big team again after this, right? But a young up-and-coming manager, do they really want to go to Spurs? Especially after what's happened to, like, Pochettino and
there's too much bad news around it.
Yeah, I mean, even
it's a graveyard for managers, isn't it? It's a graveyard.
Yeah, what was his guy? The Brighton manager, I forget his name.
Deserby.
No, the other one, the original Potter. Even he was a young manager. He refused us before he went Chelsea and all of that, and he was doing well because he's like, I don't want to work with Levy. You mad? So I think he's got that reputation now. I think he's really got that reputation in Europe. I mean, we're the butt of the jokes in other leagues. That's how bad we are. Like when you go on holiday to a foreign country, you speak to like the cab driver, and they say to you, "Oh, what team do you support?" And you go Tottenham. The only thing they know about Tottenham is losing and Levy. And you're thinking, how do they know about Daniel?
Always get battered.
Maz, I was in Mauritius literally a week ago, and my son had his Spurs shirt, and pretty much everyone that came up to us said, "Oh, you're a Spurs supporter. You like Son? Oh, you're not doing very well at the moment."
Yeah.
This is random people 12 and a half hours away.
The Premier League is followed by
some guy picking some kid picking coconuts off a tree.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
But Premier League's followed by a lot. For me, all them years ago when Chiellini said what he said, for me, you know what? Here we go. Look, I was just about to say it, and the comment comes up. That for me was just
that set the precedent globally that it's open season against Spurs.
That was
Fergie laid down the foundations with "It's only Tottenham lads," and it's just snowballed.
And from then on, it's just been continuous. And then, you know, Conte and Southampton, it's the history of Tottenham. You're just like, it just goes on. It's just, like I said, man, it's just the butt of all jokes, and it's not going to stop, is it? It's not going to stop.
Listen, let's wrap it up. Big up to Sean Campbell, new channel member. Thank you very much. A user says, I don't see Levy spending much in the summer and selling key players. Ange is still here. Come on, guys. It's looking brighter already. Report of Rashford and Bissouma swap. Ayus also says, yeah, well, I doubt that. Even if the manager changes, same shit with Levy here. We totally agree. Big up to all the super chats tonight.
About Bodo Glimt on Thursday, man.
Do you know what? Let's do a quick prediction just for the first leg. I think 3-0 Spurs. Iggy? They've got a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of players that are suspended as well. I think. By the way, I don't think we're going to win the tie, even if we're 3-0 up in the first leg. I've got a feeling we're going to put them to the sword.
3-1 Spurs, but I think we need to take a big lead over to Norway.
3-1 Spurs. Lee?
Yeah, based on what I've heard tonight, their best 3 players are out. They've now lost another 2 defenders to injury as well. I think we'd put them to the sword on Thursday night. On the other leg out there, though, we'll just have to see what happens. To be fair, but we've got to take, as Iggy said, we've got to do something on Thursday night. We can't just go out there with a 1-0 or something like that. We've really got to put them to the sword.
Maz, what do you reckon?
I'm backing my boy Tony Rodriguez because he knows Scandinavian football. So 2-2.
What's Tony gone for?
2-2.
I'll tell you what. I'll say it now. If it finishes 2-2, Bodo are going to the final. Because they're going to get their best players back for the second leg, and it's going to be on the old Tamworth pitch. There's
one player I know, Jean Peters Jorge. He was at Milan a few seasons back, and he's an exciting left winger, man. He is exciting. So I look forward to seeing him again and see how he fares up at the lane.
Left wing, so he's up against Porro.
Great.
You can't defend. I've got a super chat from a user. Regardless of injuries, this is Spurs 2-2. Do you know what? I'm surprised because a lot of the chat are predicting a draw or a 1-goal win for Spurs. I'm the only one that's predicted a big score, except for Mark. Well done, Mark. 3-0. Oh, Tom's coming now. 3-0. All right. But then most of them are like 2-1s. 2-2s, 1-1s, 2-1s.
It's because of what happened yesterday, man. Because we got fucking pemmeled yesterday, so we're not going in there with a lot of confidence. That's why.
By the way, there's no watch long and there's no post match show on Thursday unless Mari can start the post match because I'm going to the game. So I'm not going to get back in time to start it. If I'm getting Mari to.
He's going to get all the clips out now. God, you're putting Levy in his pocket. How can you possibly protest? That's it. It's all coming out now.
I'm told to be positive. I've got to back the team.
What's the excuse this time? Because you've got to go and pick up a parcel from. You've got to pick up a parcel from the post office round the corner, so you might as well go.
No, I've pre-ordered a 3-course meal in the West Stand, so I want to go and eat at the Levy restaurant. No, I said all along. If Spurs get to the semi, I'll go. I'll go back.
Be the first semi you've seen in a long time, isn't it?
Hey! All right, guys, listen, thanks for watching tonight. There might be a post-match show, maybe. I'll speak to Mari, but if not, we'll definitely be back on Sunday for the watch-along against West Ham and then a post-match show in the evening. And then Monday we'll be back discussing the Bodo game, the West Ham game, and then the second leg in Bodo. So come and join us. Iggy, Lee, Maz, have a good one. See you later. Good night.
Come on, Spurs.
Everyone in the chat, have a good one. Look after yourselves. We'll be back soon. Come on, Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.